Hello, my name is Rohit Sangle. I am a Btech ITDS final year student. Hello, this is internship presentation on BI Business Analytics and Advanced DC Evaluation. These are the contents on which I am going to talk today. Let me first introduce myself. I am Rohit Sangle. I am Btech IT Data Science final year student currently and just finished a internship at Ruby Capital. As a management intern data analyst. I was there as a intern since November 2020, and my full-time internship stipend was 12,500 per month. The reason why I have selected this internship was because I was having interested in finance and economics, plus I wanted to use my knowledge of data science in this particular domain. And Ruby Capital is a boutique investment bank and financial services company catering to mostly medium and small companies, and also to some extent large companies. And it is also engaged in financial services and consulting businesses. And in the investment banking services, it involves services like mergers and acquisition. It also helps companies to raise funds. Now, the Ruby Capital is actually based in Mumbai. Its headquarters is in Mumbai, and it has its back office in Pune and Nashik. It also has association with various company throughout India and also abroad. So it has done many transactions, especially in investment banking. One of them I'm going to tell you is that of mergers and acquisition of a Indian company, Btech. It was a startup and it was acquired by German publicly listed company. And this particular transaction was executed by Ruby Capital. And this Vinjit company was having clients in South Africa, mostly South African banks in Cape Town and Durban region. On what I worked, I worked on wealth management dashboard. It was about managing a wealth and visualizing and analyzing a wealth of the investment which has been done in the various securities. It will involve cash flow modeling. Then it consists of diverse portfolio including bonds, both corporate bonds and government bonds, stocks, and real estate rentals. I also worked on doing research of creating a real estate investment trust. So real estate investment trust is like a share of a real estate. Like there is a share and stocks of a company. Just like that, there is in REIT there is we create a shares of a particular real estate, and then we trade on that. Then I also worked on automated discounted cash flow valuation, especially for private companies, and MIS, management information system. Then various ETL processes, mostly using Power Query and Power BI, and BI dashboard on profitability, sales and billing, and investment management, and financial result dashboards of the companies of their quarterly results. Then I also did some research analysis like REIT construction, market analysis, then various Power BI packages, and new package if there is coming anything for which would be suitable for appropriate client. The tools which I mostly use, I used Microsoft Office 365, Excel, which is of the company, and it is the most advanced one. Then Power Query, then Microsoft Power BI desktop, including both language, M language and DAX language. Then Google Sheet along with GS script in backend. Then sometime robotic process automation tool UiPath to automate repetitive manual task. It is actually optional. Then XBRL tools for handling and using XBRL files. Then automated DC evaluations of companies. It's actually part of a Doobie project, which is an investment holding company. It will be pitched to family offices, high net individuals, private equity investment firms, etc. in Dubai. That's why its name is Dubai, and I was actually part of this team. And DCF valuation is actually industry standard model for valuating a company, and we wanted to automate this particular work. So what is valuation? Valuation refers to the process of determining the present value of a company or an asset. It can be done using number of techniques. Then, as I said, that Ruby Capital is an investment bank, so it does a lot of mergers and acquisition transactions. So it has a lot of valuation work going on. So it is helpful for their company to create such a internal tool which can help them to automate this particular process. It has various application, like suppose if one wants to exit a particular venture or business, then it is very important to get a value as high as possible, or to get a value as fair as possible, or whether it's a strategic planning, funding, or whether a particular startup who wants to raise the fund and wants to raise as much fund as possible, and also the investor wants to know the fair price of that particular equity in that particular startup. Then data. The data which we mostly use is annual financial reports sourced from Ministry of Corporate Affairs website, and the data is in XBRL format. The publicly listed company data is available in the internet, but for the private companies, one has to go to the ministries like Ministry of Corporate Affairs, where it is compulsory for every registered companies in India to submit their annual data there. So mostly data which we used were balance sheet and statement of profit and loss. So the need of automating and doing some advanced thing with DCF valuation is that DCF valuation is a very lengthy and time consuming process. We want to automate and speed up as much as possible, and we want to evaluate as many multiple companies as possible in a less amount of time, in less amount of efforts. So ETL, nowadays technology is everywhere, especially in the finance. So in the finance we have to deal with a lot of data, and to get the data into some analytics platform, we use the technique known as ETL, and we use that ETL using Power Query on Power BI. So the data can be from various sources. Now, for example, there is a company which has some data on SAP ERP, it has some data on Tally, it has some data on Excel, and it has some data on some another format or some another database. So what we do is that we extract that data, we combine them, transform according to the need, and then store it in a particular desired format, and then we applied visualization and analytics on that particular data, and we connect all that data according to the need or according to the content in it. And from that analytics we get a lot of things, we go and get to know a lot of things about that particular business data, and so that we can create our MIS and decisions on it. So Ministry of Corporate Affairs website is actually a source from where we can get the data, and the Toffler is a third-party company from where we can also get the data. And every registered company in India have to submit their financial report to the MCA. Then XBRL is extensible business reporting language. It's a standard for all the businesses throughout the developed and developing and leading economies in the world to report and store their financial data in the XBRL format. In the XBRL format, a lot of things are linked with each other. There are a lot of files which tells each and every information about a company, and it is stored in XBRL format as it is much more suitable and efficient for storing such data and managing such data. MIS, Management Information System. A management information system is an information system used for decision making and for coordination, control, analysis, and visualization of information in an organization. So what it does is that there is a lot of data about various different domains, whether it's employee, whether it's sales, whether it's profitability, whether it's billing, or whether it's ongoing work. So what we do is that we take that data, clean that data, transform that data as discussed in the previous slides in the ETL process. So our ultimate goal is use of management information system is to increase the value and profit of the business to do the business, to operate the company in more efficient way, and to understand the overall picture and the overall story of what has happened in the past, and to improve the company as much as possible. So the Ruby has its own solution for that MIS domain. So the name of their solution service is Taggis. Taggis stand for time bound, accurate, growth oriented, insightful and sustainable. Then there is DCF valuation, on which I have worked initially. These are the following steps which I have followed. Financial modeling, three statement modeling, understanding its debt and other ownership by weighted cost of capital, calculating of FCFF, discounting FCFF with WACC, and automating scenarios and sensitivity analysis. This is a rough ETL flowchart. So the scenario simulation is important because the things are not static. There is a lot of stochasticity in the real world. There are a lot of scenarios. The things can be good, the things can be average, and things can be bad. So we have to take into consideration all these scenarios and have to incorporate all those numbers into our model so that we cannot miss any scenario, so that we can get as fair value as possible. Sensitivity simulation. Sensitivity analysis determines how a different values of an independent variable affects a particular dependent variable under a given set of assumptions. In short, in example, if a particular value changes, then what is its effect on another value, on another factor? If one factor changes, then what is its result on another factor? Now, for example, the relation between inventory days and that of total sales. In Monte Carlo simulation, we use Monte Carlo simulation for simulating the various sensitivities and scenarios, and that what we do is that we run Monte Carlo simulation for thousands of time, and we get to know the various the possible things which can happen thousands of time. It gives us overall picture of most of the possibility which can be there or which can happen. So conclusion and learnings. So incorporating scenario sensitivity analysis and Monte Carlo simulation given a better understanding of possibility in the case of DCF valuation, but it's computationally heavy and time consuming. It's complex relatively. Sometimes it works excellent, but sometimes it's just overdoing. Power BI is a powerful tool which solves many business data analytics problem in efficient way. Overall, one should be tool agnostic, which I have learned in this company, and which I have also learned from the senior and the bosses, that one should be able to solve problem on pen and paper irrespective of the tool. Then I have learned a lot about the industry and market as I have got to work on its data. I got our clients were the businesses which had its own different clients, very diverse one. So I got my hands over all this data, from which I have got to learn a lot about how the business is done, and the various interdependence of various business sectors on each other, as our clients were businesses itself. I got to learn a lot about finance and business operations along with the company training sessions and through colleagues and seniors. Actually, in the past I did some projects in finance, but my understanding of finance was very limited and superficial. But through this internship, I got to learn and know a lot about the finance and business in the practical way on the ground level. So I got a lot of understanding about how the business is done, how the finance is done, what are the opportunity in this particular field, and what is the future possibilities. I'm very grateful for this particular internship. Thank you.